Welcome to Lawyerpreneur, where we discuss the alternate paths that allow lawyers to engage their entrepreneurialism and distinguish themselves from others, because being a lawyer doesn't have to mean doing business as usual. I'm your host, Jeremy Richter. Today's episode is brought to you by Alps Insurance, the nation's largest direct writer of lawyers' malpractice insurance. Founded for lawyers by lawyers over 30 years ago, Alps works directly with your firm. No broker or agent, and if you do have a claim, the Alps claims handling team is comprised of actual attorneys, all with private experience. Alps roots for the law firms they protect. They believe in your success and nurture your endeavors with industry-leading coverage, risk management resources, and accredited CLEs, offering practical advice for pioneering lawyers like you. And Alps has the slickest online application out there. Qualifying firms can apply, see rates, and bind coverage in about 20 minutes. Right now, you can get 25% off one CLE seminar from Alps. Go to alpsinsurance.com/CLE. That's ALPS insurance.com/CLE and use the promo code Lawyerpreneur upon checkout. In addition to the corporate sponsorship that helps pay for the hosting and transcription of the show, you can support Lawyerpreneur on Patreon at patreon.com/lawyerpreneur. For less than the cost of a 0.1, you can help pay for the time it takes in creating and editing Lawyerpreneur and receive copies of my two most recent books, Stop Putting Out Fires and Level Up Your Law Practice. Now, on to the interview. Today I want to talk about what happens if your big break never comes. Because I've been doing this writing thing for about 4 years now, and I used to operate under the idea that it was really just a matter of time until I had my big break, until my audience found me and came in droves, and all of this suddenly got easier. And I think all of us who pursue creative endeavors have this hope, which sometimes becomes so strong as to even operate as a belief that it's just a matter of time until we catch our big break. We are one personal interaction away from landing that big client that's going to change the landscape of our practice or our business. My next book is going to land me on the bestseller list. The next podcast episode is the one that's going to bring hordes of listeners. We want so badly for our big break to be right around the corner that we choose not to believe that it's actually unlikely to materialize. But the reality is, big breaks are unicorns. Overnight success stories are myths. Most people we think of as overnight successes have been working on their craft for years before being discovered. They've been showing up and doing their work every day, grinding. It's just that you've never heard of them before, so you think their success was a big break. It wasn't. It was the culmination of years of dedication, years of determination, and a whole smattering of tenacity. Robert Dugoni, who is on episode 12 of this podcast, had his first book rejected more than 30 times. Later, he got dropped by a publisher. He'd been writing novels for years before he ever hit a bestseller list. Colonel Sanders was in his 60s before he franchised KFC. All of his businesses before that had not been successful, and he was by all accounts a failed entrepreneur. George R.R. Martin published the first book in Game of Thrones series in 1996. It wasn't until 15 years later that it became widely popular. Each of these people persisted for years, building their skill sets, growing their body of work. Despite their belief in themselves, they did not allow themselves to become entitled. They didn't begin to think of themselves as being deserving of success. They put in the work and put themselves in a position to be successful. You have ultimate control over your own success or failure. The locus of control is squarely within your domain. It's important for you to understand that. This isn't to say that everything you attempt will be successful no matter how badly you want it. Certainly it will not. But there are things you can control to determine your ultimate success, and others that you cannot. Here are 3 factors that contribute to your success, some of which are in your control and others aren't. Number 1, talent. You have no control over whether you have talent in a particular area, or even the amount of talent you do or do not have. Talent is a genetic gift bestowed on each of us in different ways and at different amounts, giving us the capacity to do certain things better than others. But since you can't control it, forget about it. Don't dwell on talent. Steph Curry wasn't born as one of the greatest shooters of his or any other generation. He's undersized and has bad ankles. He didn't attend one of the basketball blue blood schools. Even in his first couple of years in the NBA, Curry was solid, but did not evidence an ability to rise to one of the best couple of players in the NBA. He lacked the natural talent that pours out of guys like LeBron James. But Curry didn't resolve himself to being a good player. He sought out greatness. He worked tirelessly, daily, year after year. He honed his craft until his greatness was apparent to everyone. His dedication to his craft is the stuff of legends. If you want to achieve a skill or master a craft, do it regardless of talent. The guy with more talent than you may start with a leg up, but he doesn't monopolize whatever space it is that you want to occupy. I am not the most gifted lawyer. Plenty of people are inherently better orators than me. There are any number of better writers than me. But that knowledge does not give me permission to resolve myself to being a second-rate lawyer. It arms me with resolution to work harder and to become better. If you want to achieve greatness, do it regardless of talent. Make talent inconsequential by being willing to put in the work. Number 2, luck. You know what else is beyond your control? Luck. Whether it's good luck or bad, you can't count on it, and you shouldn't despair over it. Sometimes you're going to have bad luck. You might be like me and have bought your first house in 2007 at peak market prices right before the biggest economic decline since the Great Depression. Then you're stuck with it for years before eventually taking a huge loss on it, and that's just bad luck. And sometimes there's just not really anything that you can take away from those situations. Or you might be like author Elizabeth Gilbert. She's written 7 books. One of them was a worldwide bestseller for more than 2 years, Eat, Pray, Love. None of her other books have seen the same economic success. Was that one book so much better than her others? Probably not. It was the right book at the right time, and it struck a chord with millions of readers. That is luck. You can't count on luck, but you can and must pursue your work so that when luck turns its eye your way, you are in a position to take advantage of it. Coleman Cox is attributed with writing, "I'm a believer in luck. The harder I work, the more I seem to have of it. Discount luck. Just do your work." Number 3, work ethic. You see where this is going. You may not be as gifted as someone else or be handed the same opportunities, but you can let your drive and ambition guide you to outwork others. I'm not necessarily advocating that you work 60 hours a week, although sometimes that might be necessary. I'm certainly not suggesting that you sacrifice time with your family or forego your health. What I'm telling you is you need to work more efficiently and effectively than others in your space. But really, don't pay the others any mind. Put your head down, put your blinders on, and do the work you need to do. Have goals so you know where you're headed, like we talked about in a previous episode. Then do your work. Give no thought to talent or luck or any number of other things that are beyond your control. Concern yourself only with what is at your fingertips. Be diligent and tenacious in achieving it. So what can you do if your big break never happens? Keep showing up every day and doing your work. You can't count on luck or rely on talent. All you can do is show up, do your work, and push things forward one day at a time. Keep building your brand and marketing yourself. Write the next word, the next sentence. Put more content into the world. Develop your craft. Dig deep and push forward. Thanks for listening, and I hope you've enjoyed today's show. Please take time to rate and subscribe at whatever podcatcher you're listening on. And if you want more from me, you can find me at jeremywrichter.com. You can also find me on Twitter at richterjw. And if you want the extra audio and benefits available at Patreon, you can become a patron at patreon.com/lawyerpreneur. Thanks for listening.